After leading the county into their first All-Ireland final, Mick Bohan has done it again with a victory over Cork at Semple Stadium this evening. That was a pretty impressive hour's football from your team, Mick. You're going to be a very happy man making your way back up the M7 this evening after that.
Declan, you're only after hitting me with a sledgehammer there to say it is 20 years. That's exactly. That wouldn't have even crossed my mind. But that is unbelievable. I have to say, of all the groups I've been involved with, and I've been lucky to be involved in some fantastic groups, the work that my backroom team have done to get these in this position has been absolutely phenomenal, and I don't underestimate how I say that, because this was not on the script when we started the season. We had a new bunch and we were not at this level. So the strides this group have made between the work that's gone on in the background and the senior players who've done a lot of educating and a lot of dark hours where things were not looking good, and today's just a fantastic reward for all that.
12 months ago we all left Park Sean McDermott in Carrick-on-Shannon dispirited with what had happened against Donegal, and we wondered about the future. And in fairness, you took the scalpel to it yourself and your backroom team, and here you are now 12 months later in a completely different place, back in an All-Ireland final again.
And it's incredible how sport goes. We could have very easily closed the door on it and said, look, that was us done, and it's time for someone else to take it over and see what they can do. And you possibly would have lost a couple of more senior players on the back of that, because they built up trust with you over the years. But for those who decided to give it another go and put their shoulders to the wheel, today is fantastic. And we know this without saying to them, semi-finals are horrible days. If you lose a semi-final, there's no prize. There's a prize in getting to a final. Even if you don't win a final, there's a prize in getting to a final. People experience in All-Ireland finals. They're part of our culture. It's a national day, all those things. So to get them to that level, obviously when you go there, you're going to try and win it, but just to get to an All-Ireland final is just exceptional.
And that performance today from start to finish was outstanding. Yes, naturally enough, we had little dips along the way, but when you sit back and reflect on it, that was a pretty perfect hour's football from the group.
Well, against Cork, and there was a lot of the old heroes up in the stand watching that today, like people like Siobhan McGrath, Noel Healy and all those crew, and there's many today they would have swapped a 1 or 2 point win for on the bad days against Cork. So to go out and get a result like that against who without doubt has been our most formidable foe over the last decade is incredibly pleasing.
The game itself, you got 2 goals, you could possibly have had 3. Jen Dunn had 1 disallowed there. Did you get an opportunity to have a look back at that one yet?
No, Declan, I'm good, I'm not that good. But the answer to that is no, I didn't. I certainly know we left a bit behind us. And obviously they had to come out because they were chasing the game, and that's the position you obviously want to have them in, because when you're able to stretch the legs and get a run on your opponents, you get a lot more space. So look, we were happy, and I think it was 10 points in the end. I mean, that's a great day's work.
And finally for me, there's a vacant title there now as well. Of course, you're going to be facing Kerry, just as the lads are tomorrow afternoon in Croke Park. It's going to be a pretty special occasion on August the 13th.
Well, I can tell you one thing, we can enjoy tomorrow now, because they're gloomy days, and much and all us, we're Dubs fans, no matter whether they're boys or girls. It's hard. I remember this time last year going in to watch Dublin Kerry in an All-Ireland semi-final, and by God, it was a dark day. And all of a sudden you go into an All-Ireland final tomorrow and you can sit back and enjoy it, and please God we'll get that one as well, but at the end of the day we can relax, having done a really good day's work ourselves.
And it's a real vindication, in fairness to yourself. I know you'll deflect it back onto the players largely and your backroom team, but for yourself as well, on a personal level, to come back from that last year, and here you are on a relatively glorious summer's evening in Semple Stadium, looking forward to an All-Ireland final. And I mean, even on a personal level, that's some achievement for you.
Yeah, we're obviously thrilled, but I'd be the first to say this, you have to have the artillery in order to get to these stages of the competition. So a lot of people deserve a lot of credit for today, and look, we'll tell them that when we go in to see them.
Just looking at over the game, it was a full team performance, but 2 players particularly stood out for me, and that was Jennifer Dunn and Abby Shields in goal.
Yeah, Abby seemed to She seemed to pull off 2 top drawer saves, but I thought her kickouts were excellent, very composed. I also thought Laura McGee was outstanding. Her tackling was just, I mean, we're talking about the physicality in the women's game, but she just seems to get only ball, and a lot of them stood up. You know, the charging rule has obviously been a bit frustrating over the last couple of seasons, but they're standing up to it. You know, you're asking them to put their bodies on the line for that, and they are. At times when you look at the likes of Niamh Crowley and you think, holy Lord, how can you ask someone 5'3" and whatever little amount of pounds that she weighs to stand in front of some of the railroaders that are coming through? But time and again she does.
And just finally for me, semi-finals, they can be nervy affairs, for experienced players, but a lot of young players in the squad this year, and none of them out there played like they had any nerves.
No, it's amazing. It really is amazing for them. You know, the last 2 weeks ago was their last time playing in their first time playing in Ballybuffet ever in their careers. Today, for all of the new girls, it was their first time playing in Semple Stadium. We hadn't played Kerry here since 2017. That's the last championship game we played here. Like, all those things, and didn't knock a feather out of them.
All right, Mick, thanks very much.
Thanks, guys. We can enjoy.